So like, and you know, like we prayed a lot. We placed our trust in God, and then we started like to really like work super hard to prove that it was like the accusations were wrong. So and that's what I did, you know, like the fact that you know that first of all it's not just a business, like a revenue, like some sales, some money, like it's more than that. It's like supporting lives, supporting families, and it's, and also like my employees depended on me, and on top of that also like believing in like something bigger, like in a justice that is bigger than what we see. It's really what really helped me and what drove me to keep like working on proving that these were not only false accusations, but they were also, I mean, a scenario that was made up from the beginning, and with proofs that were altered. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you absolutely have to believe or have you have to have a focus that's bigger than just yourself.
Yeah.
You have to have a product or service that serves other people, absolutely, for longevity. Because if it's just paying the bills, I don't think that that's something that you can sustain. It's just whatever you decide to put out into the world just has to have a higher purpose.
It has to, because otherwise, I mean, with what I went through, I would have just given up and built something else.
Oh,
and that's not what I wanted. So I just wanted, like, first of all, to clear my name, like, because
right.
I think it's super important, like to keep having the credibility as an entrepreneur. But also, I mean, I felt that it was super unfair, and I didn't have to go through this because I didn't deserve that. So yeah, and on top of that, if it wasn't like others, like thinking of my employees, those in needs, and like, yeah, you can just like rebuild. It's not a problem, right? You create a new company, you rebuild, but there was too much at stake.
And I mean, it sounds like it actually, on the other side of it, it made you stronger, and probably just made your business stronger, and reinforced your mission,
Yeah.
charity and creating better food for people to consume. And so, I mean, it sounds like that was a very difficult experience, but I love for moms to talk about how becoming a business owner has impacted their family, and hopefully you've had some positive impacts on your family in becoming a business owner. So, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think that when you're a mom, and when you're a new mom, especially, and you have a business, you have to try a lot of things.
Oh, right.
And for me, it took several years. So my child is 3-year-old, and it's only like at 2.5 year old that I managed to figure it out. And in the sense that I managed to understand the kind of balance I had to work with. So in terms of like work and life, and for me, so what I do, it's really important that in the morning I have one full hour with her, where I prepare her breakfast, and while she eats, like, we have this time together, and then she goes to daycare, and when we go and pick her up, I take like 1.5 hours where I will play with her. We go outside for a walk, and it's also my me time, in the sense that, I mean, not really my me time, but it's also a moment where I work out, because I tend to run after her. So with her scooter, and or we go for a walk, and it's a time for me where I can do a minimum of steps, like,
right.
but yeah, so I have those 2 moments, and then we gather again around the table for dinner. Yeah. And but it's impossible to do everything alone if you don't have someone you relate to. It's not impossible. No, it's wrong. It's difficult. I
Yes.
would say it's more difficult if you're a single mom, an entrepreneur, you have like a child, young age. It's more difficult, but generally those people tend to be stronger,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They tend to be much stronger, and they tend to see more clearly what really matters, and prioritize. So yeah, but if you have the chance to have a mom, a partner, a sister, a friend that can come and help you, like to be able to have this type of schedule when you have like quality time with your loved ones, that's that's what makes it sustainable.
Yeah. And I think, I've heard over and over again, people on the podcast and other mompreneurs that I talk to, is they really feel that, having to be purposeful about their time and manage their business and family has really made them a better mother. Do you think that you could probably agree with that statement?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Just because you have to be present, right? Because you
Right.
know that you will go back to your the other things you have to do. So you have to be more mindful of the time you have. And
Yeah.
it's also, you manage also your day differently. So for example, there is like, if I'm not productive during the day and during my working hours, then it means that I will have less time with my daughter, and it's not something I want to do.
Right.
So it always forces you to be super focused and and super mindful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I I totally agree with that. And that's just what really put me in a position to start my businesses, because that time with my daughters was non-negotiable. And, some of the time my husband was in the military and he wasn't home, or lots of times military spouses just, companies don't want to hire them because they move a lot and they've had a lot of different experience, that they're just like, so you put all those things together, and but yeah, I mean, so given all of that experience, what do you think were some of the biggest limiting beliefs that you had to overcome to start your business? Because, you know, and how you had to do that.
Um,
I know you said you were really scared, and that's something just like, it bubbles to the surface for a lot of people, but yeah.
I would say that I don't tend to look at what my competitors do, just because like initially I did for research and development to take a direction, and I didn't want to take the same direction than them. So I almost built as opposed to like my business, like and I wanted to address the pain points of their customers. But I would say that like a limiting belief that is a very human kind of way of processing things is when you see other, like your competitors that were there well before you, like 10 years ago, for example, and that are really like set up and anchored, and even if they have a product that is like where they've never addressed the pain points of their own customers, while you did, like it can be really intimidating to say, oh, how am I going to catch up like 10 years, right, of presence, 10 years of building their customers' heart, while I've been creating something to win the customer's heart, and how I'm going to put it out there, what is the best way to package it up. So I would say it can be intimidating.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in comparisons, especially with social media. But the thing I think is really helpful to remember is we all have a unique gift to offer, and we all can't serve everyone. Like, it's fine. Actually, we need a variety of products and services because, everybody wants something different. Everybody's needs are as unique as business owners.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's just, and I know, in the travel industry where I have a business, people find it so surprising when I'm just like helpful and will help them learn things or show them things. And they're just like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I can't serve everybody. And, I like to have a connection with, my peers. And I just, I think that that's a really important philosophy that, we can't serve everybody.
Yeah.
Just, to compete against yourself, where you were 6 months ago or a year ago. And, just like you said, is to not expect that immediate growth. You can't compare yourself to someone who's been in the industry for 10 more years than you. You can't,
yeah, absolutely.
No matter what their product is or whatnot, there is, something to be said just for that experience. So that those are important things to keep in mind for sure. So given all of that, can you imagine your life had you not started your business and had the courage to do that and taken that leap?
Well, something I discovered along the way, and that's really why I was so unhappy working for like a more like corporate banking environment, is the fact that I'm a very poor employee. Like, like I'm a very, very bad employee because I'm very much like, why are you doing? Why are we doing that? Why do we have to attend this call? I mean, it's not bringing any value. Why this? Why? And my managers were always fed up with my questions. So and I realized that like with entrepreneurship, it's like, and especially I really had the chance to work with very, very good people, like employees, and that like many of them I can call friends now. And they have this attitude that I've never had. And we need those people desperately. Like we really need them desperately because they bring so much positivity. And I don't think, and I'll be honest with your audience, I think it's all about like positivity and attitude. And I don't think that in a corporate environment, I can bring this positivity because I was dying inside out and I didn't know why. So and it's just due to my personality. I was a square trying to fit in like in a triangle or in a circle or whatever. And it's just due to who I am. I'm someone who is very creative, and with my kind of job, I wasn't given the chance to be creative. It was all about execution decided by people that were above me. So I think I would have been a very unhappy person. Yes, definitely.
Right. And I love that story because I think there's so many people out there who feel that way and just kind of go into the workplace and get a job because that's just what they've been told to do or shown to do, and they have this calling and they don't know what to do with that, and how can I do this? And it's scary. But I think what you said is spot on because it is all about positivity and it's all about your mindset. And I couldn't agree more that as an entrepreneur, I get to work with so many amazing people. I get to have conversations like this that I wouldn't have ever had otherwise if I had let my fear of, oh, I don't like what my voice sounds like, or, oh, I don't like this or that, or nobody's going to want to listen, or, and all of those things they weren't true. Like just the thoughts that you have that hold you back just because you have that thought doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
But it is spot on that, it's just a different type of person who finds themselves as an entrepreneur. For sure. For sure. And that's why I think it's so important that, people like you have conversations and we are able to let them know that they're not alone, and that there are other people out there that went down that scary road and were able to come out on the other side and just be a testament.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, like, human beings are very good at hiding negative stuff. And when I say negative, it's like their challenges, their emotions, like the bad stuff that happened in life. And a lot of human beings just always have this smile, and you would never ever guess something happened to them, something even terrible. And I think it's good to have like a circle of people, even like a small circle, even one person, who went through that and who can say like the way it is, who can put like just the way it, like how difficult it's been, like how difficult the and challenging like their life or their like the kind of shit they had to deal with their companies. And because we all have to deal with stuff, like especially at the moment, for example, there is a global supply chain crisis, right? So we all go through like crazy delays in when we order, like for shipping, for everything. Customers not happy why it's taking so much time, so we have to take even more risks and orders even more quantities. And it's scary, and nobody will tell you that. Just because there's these like we're like turtles, right? Like there is this very like thick layer that we always try to hide, and to hide our emotions, and to look, and especially it's our generation, like the Instagram generation, and that is like that. That's why I prefer a bit more TikTok, because it's more like
that's funny.
It's raw.
Well, we've had the conversation where being an entrepreneur is like the best therapy, because all of those things that happen to you in life that keep you small, or are fear for you, you can't have them as an entrepreneur. You just can't. You gotta deal with it if you want to grow your business, if you want to be able to be on camera, if you want to be able to talk to investors, if you want to take the risk to order more quantities than you need, that you have to be fearless almost, right? Yes. I mean,
yes, so right.
you just have to do it. And I think after a while, you realize you're not going to die. You just have to get out of your own way. But it's been such a great conversation. I love your story, and I can't wait to try your product. I'm so going to get some and try it. And I hope my listeners do too. And so if you had a takeaway for somebody who wants to start a business, or they're in that growth point, I have a lot of listeners who are like just growing their businesses. What is like a piece of advice that you would want to give to them?
I would say the most difficult thing I believe that entrepreneurs have to deal with is patience and trusting the process. And because we don't tend to trust the process, we want to write the process. And I would say that my best piece of advice is, if your business is going to be successful, or if it's not going to be successful, that's okay, because you will be able to build something else. But in any case, the process will tell you, right? And the only thing you can do is just like you can only like action things that are under your control. So yeah, just follow I know it's super hard. It's my worst, like, yeah, I'm very bad at that. But I try to remind myself every single day.
I think that's really wise advice. You just have to surrender to it, and kind of have to allow yourself to be like that Wi-Fi router to let the magic happen.
That's the opposite of an entrepreneur, right? You don't let it go normally. Like you need to action. And that's why it's so opposite to like the qualities of an entrepreneur. But and that's why it's so hard.
Right.
But yeah, it's just something that I've been struggling with, but that I definitely need to do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think that that's something, especially when you're growing, you have to specifically learn. But so tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can connect with you. And one of the things I really love is the name of your business. And why don't you like talk about what that is and what it means? I love that.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Miiro comes from Latin, and it means to wonder. And it just describes the idea that when you pause to enjoy, for example, your chocolate bar or whatever, you get transported to another place where you wonder. And it's just like basically a more poetic way of being like mindful and being very present. So when you eat your piece of chocolate, you got to be present, right? When you eat,
I love that. That's
when you
so
are with your
great.
family, you have to be present. When you are, because you have to be present in every single thing you do if you really want to live the moment. Right. And then we added another I, so it's Miiro, because it's more playful, in line with our tone of voice.
Right. I love that. That's really special. And I think, yeah, I love how it seems like you've put a lot of focus on not just how your products taste, but how they make your customers feel. So, and I think that that's really what, that's really special, because, that's where you really connect with people.
Yeah. But we still have like a very long road and a lot of things to do.
You got lots of time to grow and all the things. Yes. So where can they find, what's your website, your Instagram, where can they find you?
Sure. So our website is Miiro, so MIIRO.co. And our Instagram and TikTok are Miiro _ plant-based.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And I loved getting to know more about your company and your story and about you. And I can't wait to try your products.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Much. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Rym for connecting with me and sharing your story. And I really look forward to hearing about how my listeners like this interview. And so Rym's team actually reached out to me during the week and provided me with a promo code for the listeners of this podcast. And you can save 15% at checkout by using the code Mompreneurs15 at checkout. And I will leave that information in the show notes just in case your hands are full with kids, or you're driving or exercising or doing something like that. So definitely remember that. I will leave it down below. And thank you so much for listening. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every person who reaches out to me, who shares their story, it keeps me going, because doing a podcast, I'm sitting here alone in my office talking to you, and I can't tell you how much it means to me, and it keeps me going and inspires me personally. So to keep sharing all of these stories with you. So if you would like to connect with me, you can do that through Instagram, Angela.masciulli. And let me know what you thought of the episode. If you would be interested in being featured on the podcast, please let me know. I love connecting. And let's see. Also, before I go, I thought I would mention, for all those moms who are just getting back to school and finding a new routine, I have a free aligned mompreneur workbook that gives you some prompts for some goals that you have in your business and helps you audit your time, where you're spending your time. You can download it, print it, use it as many times as you like. I actually use it myself, like quarterly I try to see where I'm spending my time and where I could use it more wisely. I think I need to do it from this week, but anyway, we can all use skills to better use our time. So you can find that Align Mompreneur workbook. I will link it in the show notes as well, and then you can find it in my link in bio on Instagram. So thank you so much. I believe I might have already said that, but thank you again for listening to another episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Angela Micheli. I hope you have an amazing weekend and an amazing week. I'll talk to you then. Have a good one. Bye.